Alright guys, welcome back to another MP Daniel's Garage. Well, I'm back at the same place, Road 1 Towing Auction. I'm out to pick up another bike. This time my actual dream motorcycle. I actually found a 1960s CA95. Hopefully it's a 305. I mean, they had it all advertised wrong, but at the looks of it, it looks like a 305. So let's get to it. Let's go get it on the trailer. Alright, there she is, loaded up. Looks completely intact. There she is. This is pretty incredible. I mean, look at this seat. It's still pliable, so definitely this was inside of a garage. And cables, everything works. Clutch, look at this. Engine turns over. I don't want this to fall over, so look at this. So 12,568. So I was trying to look for the VIN. A lot of time normally it's inside of here, but there's nothing there, nothing on the other side. But it's no, check this out. Look at that. It's not even damaged. The ones that I always see are always like crunched up there. A little going on here, but that's just, it's rust. It's like it's not even like smashed. This thing is straight. Oh, you got one little ding here. So this is a Honda. Well, it's a 150. So I was hoping it was going to be a 305, but it isn't. And it looks like it was just dripping, so this was kind of sitting there fully complete. And okay, so what I was saying here is that it looks like California put a VIN on it right there, so they assigned it. So yeah, it's just a California number. But I don't know, unless there's some other place that there's a VIN. Oh, check this out, a toolkit. Oh my God, that's freaking incredible. Well, let's leave this off. Look at this. I mean, look at the spokes. Look at that. Just wipe them off. It's chrome. Wow, OEM everything. I love this thing. Look at the back fender. Tiny little bit, but man, this is a 60s bike, so man, I really want to know what year this is. So see that, I guess that's signal. So it looks like whatever the plastic piece is gone. Looks like it's scraped here, but it functions, seems like it. I'm not saying, well, if that's a horn, and maybe this is the electric start. Dunno. But we'll find out. We'll take the seat off and see what we got underneath. But man, this thing, ouch, is sweet. It's inside of the toolkit. I want to say that's OEM. It says HM. Look at that little feeler gauge. Probably for the points. Oh man. This is a time capsule, and I already opened up the tank, so it does stink, and there was like corrosion all around here. I just wiped it off. I just didn't want to drop any more in there, but she's dry. And I mean, that's, I don't have a flashlight to look way down there, but dude, this This looks really good. This should be easy to get going in. Wow. Guys, it's pressure washing time. There's my pressure washer over there. So my goal here is just to get rid of all this oil, dried up gas, and also just some old grease that's kind of sitting back there. Just go ahead and do the whole all the way around and get rid of that dirt, get rid of this corrosion, because a battery's on its way. And yeah, just get it cleaned up so when I start actually working on it, I really don't like working on greasy. Well, I would like to get as much as I can off of there. Yeah, you can see it's a bunch that's caked on there. Hopefully it'll come off and clean up the starter as well, and whatever's on the bottom. So let's get to that. I'll throw you up on the tripod, and then we'll get to cleaning. So just to kind of show you, this is the stuff I use. Just that cheapo, whatever, Auto Parts O'Reilly's degreaser, and then we'll spray it on all over the areas that are really greasy, and then we'll let it sit for a little bit, kind of break down that grease, and then we'll start pressure washing. So experimenting here with the rust that's on the rim, and I'm going to try this CLR stuff with some steel wool, and well, look at that. Just some elbow grease, and yeah, that should work. We'll try it on the left side muffler. Seems the inside pretty much looks really bad. A lot of this is all peeling off, but at least we can get some of this rust off. I gotta say, not too shabby. Little CLR. Brought that thing right back. Sweet. Yeah, I kind of put it on the bolts there too. Had some rust on it. Gone. Very cool. All right. Keep going. All right. I'm curious how that's going to come out here. Let's see what happens. All right, glue on there. Let's scroll that. Oh, it's definitely doing something. Alright, let's wipe this off. Oh, look at that. Wow, much better. Yes. Wow, not too bad. Definitely better than it was. Down there. Sweet. Wow. Not too bad. Definitely better than the way it was. Look at down there. Sweet. Oh yeah, yes sir. I do like it. Look at that. Incredible. Alright guys. Here's your tech tip. Using CLR and some steel wool, and there you go. Not too shabby. I'm liking it. I mean, this isn't a full resto. This is kind of like a semi-resto. Almost not even that. This might be a really easy one to get done. I might try some. I heard that the Ford Oxford white matches the factory white from back in the 60s, so we'll give that a shot. Doesn't hurt. But yeah, she's getting there. Alright guys, got the CA on my stand here. It's gonna make it a lot easier to work on since everything's kind of like at standing height, sitting height, whatever. So plans. So what I did is I actually bought some paint. It was like Ford something white that people are saying that's the closest to the factory. I'm gonna try to touch up some of this stuff here. I'm not gonna repaint the whole thing because I mean this is factory. I mean it's really good. It looks really good. I mean considering 1966. So what I did also too, so these bars are bent. I actually tried to bend this the other day, and it's I got it to come up, but it's twisted. So I found some bars that might be similar. Anyways, they're coming in I think tomorrow or something like that. We'll get that thing installed in there and see. Then I'll have to make holes here for the cables for the throttle, and I got to figure this thing out why it feels weird. So I'll probably just take this apart and see what's going on inside. Also, I'm not sure if it's this side or the other side that has the points. I gotta check that out. It's my first points bike. We'll remove the carburetor and then throw it in the ultrasonic. Forgot the name of that, the last video clip I made. and got new gaskets here. I also got to figure out what the bowl gasket, so that's why when I take it off, I can actually match it up to whatever that seller online. I guess there's two types, so I want to get it right. I don't want to have to return one. And then got to check the oil on this guy, because if I can get this started up, I'll just use the existing just to get it started up and then warm it up, and then we can drain it out, clean the filter and stuff, which I believe is, I don't know where it is, dude, because I've never worked on this before, or this type of bike. Let's see what else we got going here. I started cleaning up some of the chrome, just kind of using a brash wire wheel on my Dremel, just getting some of that surface rust off of there. Got to clean the wheels. Look at these spokes, it's crazy. Yeah, it's perfect chrome. Anyways, and then I want to pull this cover off, inspect that chain. Look at that, God, it's sealed in there, it's crazy. But anyways, I got to check that out. That's probably the OG chain in there. And I got a new petcock coming in, because it was just so dirty here. I'm just assuming this was really leaking bad. And the tank, I looked at it, and all it is just like the kind of dried up sludge of the fuel that was in there. So it I didn't see a lot of surface rust in there, but it looked really good. So that looks really good. What else we got? We got grips coming in. I gotta figure out, I'm not even sure what that is. If that's a turn signal switch or for the headlights, I'm not really sure. But it's missing the plastic thing. You can see at some point they dumped it. It's probably why the bars are bent, and it smashed this down. I just kind of straightened it so I could operate it. But the crazy thing, everything just operates, works. Look at the clutch. I did order a key using the code. I will probably open this up to kind of see what's going on with the wiring in there. I believe the brakes work. I mean, nothing's locked up. This thing rolls freely. And once we get this thing running, I'll check the plugs too. They looked pretty good. I pulled the boot off. We'll probably snip it back a little bit here and then clean the points. But once we get this thing running, I did buy a gasket for this hole, so I can remove all this, repaint, get some aircraft remover, paint remover, and then get this down to the metal, and then we'll paint this that same silver. Might polish this guy up because look at that. Oh, it looks really good. What else we got? Fuel. I did also buy another kickstart rubber here, and I mean, yeah, you can see. Look, listen, hear that? And that's compression, so that sounds pretty good. Oh, also got a battery for it. Let's see, anything else that I purchased? I think that's it. So yeah, we're gonna get to doing some R&R of this guy and get it running first, and then we'll start working on making it look a little bit prettier. But yeah, first things first is to make sure that the engine's good. I can get it to idle good, go through the gears, and then yeah, this thing is awesome. Still can't believe it's actually 1966 year I was born, and this paint looks so good. I mean, it looks really good. Probably polish these guys up. Yeah, take a brush to all this. I'm not sure. I might paint this. I'm not really sure. I always use the engine paint for the heat. Not much I can do about this, but they did clean that off. That looks a lot better than it did before. Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna be a sweet runner. Got high hopes for this guy or girl. All right, see you in a little bit. Let's see what's going on with this oil situation. I know I tried to take this off by hand before, and it's pretty tight, but let's see what's going on here. There you go. Not sure if this is a dipstick, but let's see what's under here. Yep, got a dipstick. Look at that. Full. And that doesn't look bad. Let's give it a quick sniffy. Yep, smells like oil, no gas. Awesome. Yeah, that looks really good. Let's put that back. That'll be our starting oil. At least we know that's good. And then do a little bit of cleaning of the chrome. Got the wheels, spokes, kind of that cover, just wherever I could that I saw rust on. I guess I got to do that bolt. Back here on both sides. The rear rim was like the worst, really pitted. I mean, not too bad, but and I might be able to get it a little bit better, but it looks pretty good compared to the way it was before. So yeah, just take this slow, but yeah, once we get these bars, I'm just going to swap those out, and grips as well. And then, like I said, we got to open this guy up and see what's going on inside there. But yeah, looking good. Alright, so what I want to do today is actually get some PV blaster down these cylinders, both sides, and we'll pull this cover off because I want to see what's under here. So let's do that. Okay, and what we have here, D8 HA and GKs. Looks good. Actually, looks like it was running really good. So we'll probably just clean those up. We'll make sure we get spark from these things first. We've got to clean points and all that. But yeah, let's get some fluid down there. Got to give it a fighting chance just in case there's any kind of anything down in there. We'll go ahead and pull the other side as well. Put some fluid down there. Let's open this real fast. See what's behind here. Looks like it's kind of stuck in there. Let's see. Honestly, I have a feeling it has nothing to do with the... I have a feeling it's down here. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wonder if I should look that up before I start messing with gaskets. Because that's pretty much... Yeah, let's do that. Let's put that back for now until I figure out where the points are. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the other plug on the other side. Shoot some, get some fluid down there. Alright, same thing. D8HA, NGK, and looks good. Alright, let's give it a little bit of a turnover. Spins over nice and smooth. I don't have a key for this right now. It's on order, so I can't turn the ignition on. So I can't really check for spark. That's coming a day or two. But I want to find out where the points are so I can at least clean them. Alright, that should be enough. I'll just throw these plugs back in. Maybe just snug. And then we'll, let me look up where the points are. And, I don't know, this is the oil side, so I don't think it's there. Let me look it up. I bet it's on the other side. Alright, let's look on this left side. This looks like more of a place where points would be. And the screws aren't that tight, so could be somebody was in here already or whatever. Let's just check it out. Plus, I actually bought a gasket for this, a new one. Yep, there they are. Okay, points on this side. And I'll bring it up here close. Kind of see what's going on here. So it's right there. Yeah, it doesn't. That looks pretty dark. So we'll clean that up, and then yeah. So let's see what else I can do. Not much else. I mean, so I guess I could try to pull the carb off. I gotta pull these two plates, one on each side, off. Get the carb off. And then I can at least see the bowl, so I can order that seal. And then I think there's this seal. Yeah, let's do that. I got the other side off. There's just a screw on the other side, and these two Allen bolts. And this just comes right off. And I could already tell that that's not the factory, and it's actually laying down here. Yeah, which is okay. I don't mind running these things because it's going to be a lot easier to replace. But this looks reusable, and then you just oil. Looks like a Can-N. It might be a Can-N, but we'll see. So we got that off. Now we just get these two bolts here, unscrew that cap, and then disconnect all the lines, and then we should be able to get this. Choke works good. Wow, God, this thing looks smooth. And then we'll get this all disconnected, and then pull the carburetor off. Alright, got the two nuts off of this side. Oh, look at that. So I'll show you in a second here. So, and then just unscrew this top cover, and then remove the fuel line. And this, okay, has a drain here. Take that off. And that slide. Just needs to be cleaned up, but it was moving freely. And yeah, where'd it go? Maybe it dropped on the floor. But anyways, yeah, look at that. Look at this stuff inside there. It's like tar. So, like I said, this is going to get cleaned up really good. Yeah, the O-ring here. Oh, here it is. Found it. Look at that. That would be a... So you can get it in the camera. That right there would be a vacuum leak right there. So we got to replace that. And let's open up the bowl. There you go. Oof. stuck like glue. Oh yeah, look at that. Yummy. The nice thing about having a ultrasonic is all that's going to disappear. So yeah, there's a, yeah, but this looks pretty good as far as like it being, it'll be cleaned up, nothing's all corroded. Actually, all this gummy stuff, oops, just a bunch of gas just fell out. Yeah, nasty smelling. Okay, so at least we got, you know, got this off. We can match this seal to the kit that we need. And yeah, so I think I might just drop it into the ultrasonic the way it is right here, and then we'll disassemble it. Then we can redo it as well. But yeah, look at that, it's not moving. And I don't want to, like, this is pretty, the floats, they're pretty delicate, so yeah, that should free up once we get in the ultrasonic. Let's do that. I'm gonna wipe my hands before I hit my phone. Alright guys, let's get to ultrasonic in this guy. There you go. This is pine sol, by the way, and water. So I had it preheating. It just takes forever. Right now it's at 50 Celsius. And cover it up. Go ahead. 30 minutes. Check it. See if we gotta do it again. Alright, well that's ultrasonicing. Let's take this battery out. Battery should be coming in, I think. Where's my tin? Should be coming in a couple days, I believe. Sunday, so Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. So that's. So I sprayed this with PV Blaster the other day, so this should come off fairly easy. Got a couple here. Oh, got a pretty hand on that. It broke off. No big deal. This battery looks really good. I mean, but it's, you can see it's dry. There's no acid in it, so no idea. I think I have some extra battery acid left from a bottle that I had to buy for the new battery. We'll see if this one should take a charge. Got it. This. Yeah, it's really in there, so I need a screwdriver to pry that out, I guess. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. There. Little pin doesn't come out. That's a bit tight. I'm going to keep recording this. I got to get that pin out. Yeah, I'm going to keep recording this. I got to get that pin out. This is after 30 minutes inside of the ultrasonic. You could still feel the goo all over it. This was stuck, but this was actually moving. But it looks like the little clip goes on. Well, it might be still. Yeah, it was. Oops. Yeah, it's gone. Anyways, the rebuild kit hopefully has that. Then we'll look at this jet and see what the size is there once it's clean, because it's still pretty dirty. And then we'll see what size that is, and then we'll match it up to whatever the kit comes with. Hopefully it's the stock. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so it's a little hard to do one-handed. Actually, I can't do this one-handed. So okay, I gotta do this off camera. Fuel screw out. That was 3/4 out. So there it is. Honestly, I can't really see what's in there. I don't know if there's actually an O-ring and a washer. Sometimes they have that inside of there. This is just the idle, so we can take that out. I'm going to leave this alone because in the kit I didn't see that it had. Not sure. Those brass. I might have these. Yeah, I don't think I need to remove this as long as I can blow air through here. Clearly, I'll put some carb cleaner through there. I should have to move this, and I'll leave, I think, everything else, because I don't want to, I don't know, might have to remove this thing. I saw that in the kit, but, you know, this is working pretty well. I don't think I need to do that. I'm going to leave that alone. Okay, so we got to put this back in now that we got everything taken apart. Alright guys, clean my carb. That's the jets that were in it, so that's 100 main. And hard to tell on this one. I think it's a 55. That's upside down. So 55. I think it's a 55. Anyways, and then there's the carb. So yeah, I just took a little brass Dremel tool, cleaned it up a little bit on the outside. I mean, it was pretty clean after the cleaning of the tank. But yeah, look at that. Gives it a little shine. Anyways, yeah, I just want to make sure it was totally clean, especially inside the bowl. It's nice and clean. All the other pieces. So really, I'm probably going to reuse what's going on here, but what I'm noticing here is that this didn't have, like, I know I usually see like a clip here that clips onto the float, onto that tab. Guess I'll look in the manual or parts list or something to see if that even they had it on this year, 1966 or whatever. Because yeah, normally it clips onto there, so it hangs off of that, and you drop it in, but it's not there. But anyways, so clean off everything, especially this too, so that way it's easy to get this float back off if I have to. Emulsion tube, everything's clean. So yeah, so just gotta wait. I bought a carb kit for it. Really, probably just gonna use the gaskets that came with it, and probably the this, because it comes with the other part that actually screws into the carburetor. Actually, I can show you here, right there. Probably change that out too, but that's probably gonna take, I don't know, a few days to get to me, so won't be able to work on it until next week. So at least the carb's clean, and kind of good to go there. Just gotta wait for parts. So yeah, I'm an idiot. This thing didn't need to come out. This is actually just a swivel, and you just you take this nut off, and it actually swivels out, and you can get the battery out. Anyways, I just gotta put a new pin in there. No big deal. I went ahead and cleaned the grounds here, and I scraped the paint off the back of this, the lug here. And then also these two, this was broken, so I went ahead and fixed that. So we're good here to connect all these. Connected the, or cleaned this, so the connector, so we're good there. What I did notice is that this thing here, I did get it free here, so it actually functions down here, but it's always on, like no matter what position it is. I gotta figure out what this is, because I know this operates with the rear brake, but it doesn't do anything. I gotta know if this is goes to the starter solenoid probably. Not sure, we'll figure it out. But either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't really need it working. I just need to know if it's supposed to be always on, or one needs to be disconnected in order for it to start. But we'll figure that out once we get a battery and a key. And I think the keys come in Tuesday. Battery tomorrow. So yeah, carburetor is clean now. Just gotta wait for the kit they ordered. Gotta remove the little intake here, so I got a new gasket. I'm gonna make sure this is all. I'm gonna inspect this, make sure there's no cracks, and then I also want to put a new gasket back here before I put the carburetor back on. And that's the filter that came on it, so it's not the stock one, but I guess it'll work. It should be fine, but I'll have to get some the oil for that, and then also probably heat that up, because that was what was connected the carburetor to that. They put some zip ties on there so it doesn't fall, because actually that fell off. It wasn't even on. It was just inside there on the ground. So it looks like the solenoid has a metal mount, but it's broken, because I could see inside there it's broken up top. We're going to figure out whether or not I don't want that jingle around, because that's eventually going to just snap wires. So I got to figure that out. But yeah, it's getting looking pretty good. Just shined up some stuff that I could today while I'm still waiting for parts. But yeah, just getting there. Just to show you what I'm doing here, it's dark out now, but so bought this battery. It's like MA7-6 GS. This is my old battery here, and I bought some battery water, fluid, whatever, battery acid from the local AutoZone near me. And then since I don't own a 6-volt charger, I bought this guy from Amazon. And let's see if you can get the start excuse me, to see the screen, but there you go. So it's charging now, and we'll let that charge overnight. And I did kind of, for the hell of it, because I had a bunch of extra battery acid, I filled this guy up, and it's showing 0.5 volt, which is crazy that it actually has something. So I don't know, once I get this charged up, I'll throw the charger on there just to kind of see what that can, if it can recover. Kind of doubt it, but I mean, it doesn't hurt. So anyways, we'll let this guy charge overnight, and then see how it goes. So the key should come in tomorrow as well, so that'll give me, I can actually install the battery and see what kind of electronics are working or not working on the bike. So there you go. See you tomorrow. So check this out. This is while it's charging. I want to show that I got my tank here. It's been soaking with purple power and hot water. Well, it's not hot anymore since last night, and it's now really about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So all day while I was at work. So what I'm trying to break down is the gas is like molasses, but it was dried like molasses. So I needed to actually get that broken up, so then we can get that out before I do the vinegar to get rid of all the rust, which I'll let soak for a couple, 2-3 days or whatever. And then we'll use baking soda to kind of deactivate it, and then we'll rinse it out, and then probably swish it out with some fresh gas a little bit, and then dump that out, and then we'll put it on the bike. Maybe I'll treat it with some 2-stroke gas that I have, so it has some oil in it. So yeah, there's that. So this battery's been charging pretty much all night and then all day, and this has already shut itself off, so it means it's fully charged. You can see by the graph there. So we'll switch this to repair, and then we'll hook it up to this guy here and see if this actually comes back to life. I also got these 2 keys, came in from getting from eBay. The number on there matches that number. Now, let's see what happens. You're gonna find out when I do. So let's see. Look at that. Sweet. Perfect. Okay, that works. Now I'm gonna grab the other key. I want to see if the actual steering wheel lock works as well. I mean, it should, but let's find out again together. No, I can't turn that. Okay, so let's see here. Slides right in. And oh yeah, because I have to get it lined up with the thing, and I can't move my wheel. Well, should be no reason why that shouldn't work, but we have to test that out. We gotta pull the bike back. So, sweet. We got an ignition now, or ignition switch, might I say. Good to go. All right. Purple power. Well, didn't do much. Not sure. Kind of looked the same after I had rinsed it out. So, anyways, the whole point was trying to loosen that up, but I heard white vinegar does a better job, but just gonna be a while. So I got 2 and that much inside the tank right now, so it's pretty much at the very brim here. So we'll go ahead and close that up, and then let it soak a couple days, 3 days. I think I'll just mess with this over the weekend, so we'll just let it. It's Tuesday today, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe Friday or Saturday we'll take a look at that again. Got the battery on here, and we got, I'll show you here, kind of weirdness going on here, and I guess I don't really understand the key switch. So this should be off because the key comes out, right? So the first one I thought was like for the starter, and it actually will not send spark, kind of like you run the starter just to kind of prime, and then the second would start. But look, with the second one, light turns off, and none of the other ones do anything. So that's on, okay. And I believe, yeah, let's see here. Well, I thought I saw it earlier, the actual instrument light inside there turned on. Okay, so we have this on. Tail light is on. Okay, now here's a brake. I'm gonna push it down. So the brake switch is working. Okay, but that light is always on. The basic parking light, even with the key off. Let's do that. So it's off, headlight turns off. That should be normal. That's not normal. That's going to drain the battery. So I have a feeling something's going on inside of here. I got to open up. Let's see. So there. Let's see what happens. Starter switch. Yep. Good. Okay, starter works. I wonder if it's actually getting spark. I haven't even cleaned the points yet, but just for the hell of it, let's see what happens here. Put this back on. Okay, let's ground it out. I don't want to hold it because I've been shocked before. So let's see. if we have any kind of spark. That's fucking sweet. We got spark. That's freaking intense. Okay. So why is this staying on though with the key off? And I'll show you. Okay. Key off. Lights off. And that is still on. So I gotta disconnect the ground right now while I figure out why basically the running lights are on when this should be totally powered off. But that's cool. Starter turns. Sounds good. I guess I'm not really know what the normal, or maybe that is the normal kind of sound. To me, it just sounds kind of slow. But I mean, plugs are in, so the compression is there. So, but we'll keep digging into it. I want to open that up right there, though. See what's going on in there. All right, let's go ahead and polish these guys up. We'll wet sand them a little bit, and then we'll throw it on the buffing wheel. So these are the two that cover the backside of the carburetor, and this is the points cover. All right, there you go. A little bit better. Probably can do a much better job, but you know, I think that's pretty good. And then we did the sides as well, and I also knocked out the dent there as best as I could. And at least it's semi-flat. It's not dented in there, so yeah, the other side is okay, but it just has a lot of pitting. But it's about as good as I'm going to get it, or as far as I'm going to go anyways. There you go. So here we're at the point to start removing the handlebars, because I got to replace them, and then I got to start putting all the holes back here. And look at that, this is for the throttle, because it has like a slide mechanism in there. So in order to get all this electrical stuff, I'm going to have to disconnect from down in here and yeah, start pulling stuff through. I do have to disconnect the clutch, so the clutch cable goes here on this side, the toolkit side. So pull this cover off. I got to see how it's connected and disconnected, so we can actually loosen up to get the clutch cable through, at least loosen, so that I can actually get this off. Or maybe I can just, yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, we gotta get that off there. So I want to work on that today. Just had to take the exhaust off to get to these Allen bolts here, are just gonna make it easier for sure. But those are 210s here on the front of the header. And you have a 14 and a 17 bolt nut. I mean, nut that then you can actually take the header off first, just slide it forward, and then you can just pull this out. So let's get this part out. There you go. I removed this cover, which actually holds this, which puts the tension on the cable. So now, literally, I can pull the cable out if I need to, but I don't think I need to. I just need to get it loose enough so I can pull this out. And yeah, it gives a good visual. Front sprocket looks pretty good. Chain looks good. Got to check the tension there, but that looks pretty, I mean, for an old chain, looks pretty good. That's what happens when it's completely covered by a guard, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, gives a good thing so I can actually inspect some of the wiring too in here, but it looks pretty good in there. All right, let's get that off, and then we're gonna have to start disconnecting cables in the front headlight area to remove the switches. Did the yellow with the red stripe right here, which goes to the starter switch. That's on the right side of the bars. Wires disconnected from inside the headlight, and what's nice is they all, I mean, actually match in color. So just got to push this through up here, through the center here, and out the left side where the grip is. That'll get that out, and then we can get this handle off. Might be hard to tell, but it's twisted. It's bent here, which I did try to bend up but it's twisted like forward, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to get that straight. So that's the only reason why well, you can kind of see there. Look at that. Yeah, that'd be for some awkward riding. But anyways, see all these notches, or I'm gonna have to make. There's the holes there, hole there, hole there, hole there. That's for the turn signal. So yeah, gonna be a lot of prep work on the new bars, which are inside of that box. So this is what we're working with. So the OG one's right here. It's the new one. You can see it's just a little bit, it's not as tall, but it also doesn't, let's see here, really hard to do this, but see the curve in, like when it actually, the bar is coming towards you, it's a lot more straighter here versus this kind of bends that way. To me it's kind of more motocross like, so I kind of like it. But what I'm hoping is that because this is a little bit shorter, this is a little bit longer, that for cables and stuff like that, wise, that it'll still be okay. Yeah, so now I gotta go ahead and start making that big old cut right there. So I'll probably do just make two hole here, then use a Dremel to kind of go across here. Anyway, that's the plan. So a lot nicer. At least the new one is straight, not twisted. So working on these knee guards, I just want to explain how I did this. So you want to scrub it really good with some dish soap with a brush, just to get all that, the black kind of chalkiness that these have when they get old, and dry it really well. Hit it with, kind of then wipe it down with some alcohol. So important just to kind of get everything so it's super clear, clean and porous. And then hit it with this stuff here, this bumper coat. Bondo used to make it, but this is the same stuff, and it's just flexible. It's kind of a dye, what have you, not really a paint. And then this is the outcome. Looks really good, and then no more flakiness, and then black powder stains or whatever like that on your pants. So yeah, there you go, guys. Starting with the doing the holes for the handlebars. So what I did is just show you using this step up. It's a pretty small one, and then started with that and then went with this. So this actually measures up to just that first one, so I just need to get past that. And you got to remember too is that this can only go so far in the handlebar because, well, it's only 7/8, whatever the measurement is. So here you go, there's two holes, and now I'm just going to use my my Dremel cutter here. Let me show you here to hopefully get in there and then get at least that whole slot, and then we'll clean it up with one of those so the cable doesn't get cut, whatever. There's the rough cut after the Dremel, and now we'll go ahead and kind of flatten this out, clean it up, so again, so it doesn't cut the cable. There you go. Kind of give it a little chamfer here. Yeah, so it's a little bit bigger than that one, but it's okay. I mean, just gives more space for the cables to go in. And this is all clamped anyways down, so the strength isn't really compromised here. Just got to be careful once we start going into like this one here. It's a lot smaller. Same with that one. The hard one's going to be that guy for the twist throttle. And we got to make some small holes for the turn signal. Yeah, nice one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. There's that one, which is for the accelerator cable. Yeah, okay, then we got to get to that one. So that's a big one, kind of the same width as this one right there. So the hard cut's going to be this one. So this is the mechanism for the throttle. So we got to make sure that this is actually perfectly straight and not bigger. Otherwise it's going to drop in. But yeah, we got to make sure that actually functions correctly. Going to be the hard one, but we'll start with this hole first, and then we'll measure this direction, and then yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to get that totally straight, but hopefully I can do it, because I got no choice. Alright, here we go. So far, so I got the cuts all the way across here, started down here, but ran out of battery, so we'll let that charge up. Also, that needs to cool off. It was getting pretty warm. And then we'll continue this venture. So it's a little bit smaller, which is okay, because then I can just start grinding down to get it to, this is actually the correct width here, this hole. So we got it all the way across. Alright. Alright guys, got it as flat as I could. Use actually, I had a points file. Had two of them, so I use this other one to kind of get it as flat as I could. And, I mean, it's functioning, so that's good. I just gotta wait for that one piece that goes here, so I can make the there's a notch here where it actually fits in. You can kind of see right there. I guess I could just measure it out and just do that, but I'd rather have the piece with me so I can actually just slip it in there and make sure it fits well. But anyways, there it is. That's a pain in the ass, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do. So that actually is not too bad. I got it functioning pretty smooth. I like it. Just for the hell of it, I kind of took this apart, polished this side. I'm not even sure if this side's going to show. But yeah, this is, I had to cut it here because this is just starting to spin and I didn't want it to break over here on the inside. So I removed the cover, which actually just pops off. And is that correct? Anyways, so we'll test it. I actually took it apart. These 3 screws, one was pretty hard to get out. A lot of PB blaster back and forth, and it finally came out. These are the 2 mounts. Oh, that go to the that mounts on the bike, and then the cover's there. And yeah, how did this? And it was figured out. Oh, I went ahead and cleaned it off. Used my Dremel, a little brush, cleaned the whole inside, and just kind of reassembled it. We'll see what happens. It kind of worked, and then it kind of off and on. So to me, it just sounds like it's a connection issue. So this does work, and but we'll see what happens since I cleaned it all out. Here's our testing platform here. Anyway, 6-volt battery. Let's see what happens. Uh-oh. Not even clicking. Oh, there we go. Very cool. Okay, so that's good to go. This is the cover here. Keep that guy original. I might just hit it with some clear coat, but just clean all that crap from the inside. And then we'll put it back. I got to clean that area too as well before I mount it back, which is up there. And that's the actual mount. So I've got these blinkers from eBay. Yeah, I actually thought these were metal, but plastic. Here's the problem. The fitment is shit. They can't even like mold this to the correct diameter of the bars. Look, this is actually before I use my Dremel, which is that tool right there. Look at that. Slightly off. You can't just like press it down because it's plastic, it actually bends. So this is where I'm at now with this one. And same with here. So hopefully that's gonna mount correctly, but I guess we'll see. So I'm feeding the wires now through, and yeah, that's what you get. So there they are lighted up. This is actually a 6-volt battery. I bet that bulb in there, because it seems so dim, I mean it will work, but I bet that bulb in there is a 12 volt. So I'll have to open that up and kind of see what's going on inside. But yeah, I'd say right there, I mean it mounts okay, and I might have to put something underneath here, just maybe some tape or something to keep it from it doesn't, I mean it could move, but it's pretty much, it's on there. But I guess to make it more stable I need to put something underneath. So there you go. So I just want to fess up here. This is where I screwed up here. So that piece that holds the cable, throttle cable, I actually I made the notches here on the bars a little bit too big. So anyway, so it just needs to not move. It doesn't even be removable. I can still grab the cable from in here and kind of lift the cable over to this side to get it to the whole mechanism here, to this mechanism. So it should be okay. So what I did is I just JB welded it on basically the spaces here. It's pushed all the way up against the metal end of the notch, which keeps this from moving. But just to secure it better, I put the epoxy on. Let me see if we can get the light in there. So both sides of that, there you go. That side and that side. So once it's dry, it can't move. I mean, there shouldn't be that much pressure to where, or tension or whatever, that's going to break that epoxy. I kind of doubt that, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that's kind of my fix and what I did, because yeah, I don't want to go through this whole ordeal with new bars and re-notching holes, and oh man, what a nightmare. Anyways, we'll let that dry for a few days, and then we'll put the mechanism in there and I can get the handlebars. I'm still waiting for, there's a, let's see, for this side, there's this side, I think, for the yeah, the switch that I bought for here. So I don't want to put the grip on yet and all that stuff, and I've got grip glue and all that stuff, but I want to wait until I have that last piece and I can run the wiring through and all that stuff. And I got some grommets to kind of protect the wire from the metal edges. You'll see how that goes. There's the other grommets. All right, so okay, let that dry. All right, got the bulbs from Amazon tonight, and there you go. That's a 6-volt bulb. Let's look at this one. 12 volt. .6 volt. Big difference. All right, epoxy's all dried up, and we got full travel here. And I should keep this from actually pushing that way with all this epoxy here. And I smoothed it all out, so it's good to go. Just wait now for the well, for this side actually. I can put this on here now, I guess. Yeah, feed this through, which is the start button, and then yeah, let's get that installed. Still gotta wait for that part. So I got this all taped off. I just want to give this a little engine low gloss black paint on here, being that it probably look better. This actually shows. So I want to make sure this looks good. Yeah, I broke off a fin here, removing that cap, but you know, kind of is what it is. It's black anyway, so maybe it'll not show up. So of course it's in the front, but anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing spritzed. This comes out on video here, but yeah, this is all painted. We'll let it dry a little bit more. I can feel it. It's not tacky anymore, but maybe another couple hours, and then we'll remove all this covering and stuff. I didn't worry about the plugs because this is actually getting replaced with new. Just cover the bolts and stuff, and yeah, so we'll let that dry a little bit, and then I'll remove all this covering, because I was trying to protect the white, because it's well, it is black, so all the overspray stuff, and anything that's very little, it's going to be like powder. And then once I start polishing all the pieces here, then it'll all come off anyways, but I doubt there's anything on there. So yeah, there you go. So there she goes. Got all the caps back on, and yeah, a lot better than before. So this part I'm going to leave alone, but all this covers and stuff like that will all get repainted, but I want to start it first before, that way I can kind of verify stuff is kind of working before I strip this off and start painting this. But this inside here will keep the same. We won't touch that. Seems to be okay, and yeah, definitely looks better for sure. Trying to fit these Chinese rear signals. Well, none of this lines up. You can see here. So I'm having to use my old RC little bolts and stuff like that, and I'm just bolting it on there, drilling my own holes, and then I had to, because the wiring from the actual light, it sits a little bit further back, so sorry, focus. It's a little further back, so I had to Dremel this so that way it doesn't kink. So anyways, that's what I'm doing, but this is gonna work out. I might have to shave this down just so it's more flush with this, so I'll check that. It's already tight, so I don't really care now, as long as it holds. There it is, mounted. We got tail lights, no, signal lights I mean. Yeah, not too shabby. But yeah, we got the wires here, and then there's actually a notch here, or a little channel on both sides. I'm gonna see if I can run the wires through there, and on the other side too, kind of keep them there tucked. But yeah, much better. Guys, finally got the switch, ran the wires. Look at that. That's quite a few wires. Anyways, it all fit right down inside the handlebar. Looks really good. Just got to put the grip on there, just to get the right spacing. So yeah, there it is. Now I can finally put the bars on, and then we'll run the throttle cable through here. Then we can finally mount all this stuff up. So yeah, check this out. Got some new old stock front fender ornament or tip. So yeah, unused. Even the tabs aren't even bent under there. So yeah, and I got the wing as well, little Honda wing. So that'll cover most of the area here. So yeah, it's got the bars put back on, or the handlebars, and there's all my wiring right here. Got it stripped, so I got some bullet connectors on order from Amazon. That has it's a waterproofing shrink wrap. So we'll get those installed, and then we'll start dealing with the wiring. So yeah, and also put some lube in all the cables now, so they're all free, especially this throttle one. And yeah, we're getting close, getting close. I was just wondering if anybody's actually worked on these things. I actually took it apart before and cleaned everything up underneath here, the little thin plates down there, and it was working, but then when I mounted it on the bike, it stopped. I don't know why. So when I took it apart, cleaned all the contacts inside of here, and well, this is all I get now. I mean, it looks like it's working, but I'm assuming that something's supposed to flutter here, right? But I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to work on these. And yeah, adjusting that screw there, I mean, either it makes it work or not work, but yeah. Any suggestions, or I'm just gonna have to buy a 6-volt horn, non-OEM, probably Chinese, because yeah, I need a horn to work. Got this finally all sorted out. Kind of had to hack a little bit But yeah, we got the tail light working, headlight. Let's make sure. Okay, headlights working. High beam, low beam, and signals. Left, you can see it over there. Right, blinking over there. And so I actually ran a positive directly from the battery and also a negative. And so the negative kind of runs, well, it operates through the negative, through the switch, and positive is going to be direct to battery. Yeah, I had a hard time with this. There's a black wire in here that actually it's controlled by ignition, but it also passes through the horn, which both terminals are positive. I just couldn't figure it out. Plus the horn's not working. I just ordered a 6-volt from Amazon, and yeah, we're just gonna go with that. And so yeah, everything works. Neutral lights on there. There's the wire in there. I know I'll probably fix it up a little bit, make it more neat once I get ready to put this headlight back on. But yeah, I kind of want to hold until I get the actual horn, hook it up, and actually, you know, hear it when I push the horn button. So just want to make sure that's all before I close it up. But yeah, it's all kind of shoved in there towards the front under the headlight bucket. So yeah, that's where we're at. That was kind of a pain. Of course, you know, being this aftermarket switch here, it's, yeah, the wiring is not going to match the color diagram and stuff like that. So yeah, we have to do what we got to do. So anyways, there it is. Carburetor all rebuilt. So basically, here's like the kind of the spare part stuff. Gonna verify the needle's okay on the OEM one, and definitely gonna use this gasket here. I didn't use the Pilot because it was a smaller size than what was originally in here, and this thing seemed to be running good by looking at the spark plugs. But yeah, so new O-ring there. So I put the main jet, which was the same as what was in the kit, so I used the new one, and OEM Pilot, and then also the needle and seat I replaced. I put in there, and everything seems to be functioning correctly. Nice new fuel bowl gasket. I got the fuel screw set right now at 1.5. So that's what I'm going to start off with. I forgot what it was on there before, but that's fine. It can be adjusted as we, you know, try to get this thing started up. But yeah, looks pretty good. So let's just slap this guy on there. Also got a new gasket for the intake as well. We'll get that on there and put this on there. Ended up cleaning the piston really well. Inside there was like some, I don't know, like hardened gunk in there, so that's all cleaned out. But that needle, you can see the difference. Yeah, I'm going to use the new needle, new clip, put it right in the center, and yeah, we'll use the little needle holder thing. So we'll go ahead and replace that. New needle clip installed, new needle. Yeah, hardest part is getting that clip because well, everything in metal is magnetic, so it keeps moving that, so I had to use this little WD-40 straw to kind of get it in place and then clip the corner into place, so it's in there. Alright, wiring checks out. Horn, this is a 6-volt, I think 110 decibel, and yeah, it sounds like a Volkswagen Bug. Definitely louder than OEM, so I'm actually going to keep that. What I'm going to try to do is see if I can use the housing of the other, just take out all the insides of the OEM and somehow mount that in there. We'll see. Guys, so kind of have it gutted out here. much as I'm going to do it. So I'm going to cut here and also cut here. Hopefully that'll then it should fit inside there using that lip. And yeah, hopefully this will cover on the back side. Definitely got to cut this off. Yeah, and then reuse the top. We'll see how that works out. I mean, if it doesn't, I couldn't get it to work anyways, this OEM horn, so doesn't matter to me. And I'm not selling it as a non-operational horn, at least to me it's not op. Anyways, let's get to this. Here's the kind of rough cuts. My Dremel battery died, so let it charge up. But you can see here's the actual cover piece that had all the electronics in it, and there's my horn there. So we just got to get it to fit more flush in there. So yeah, a little bit more Dremel work, but yeah, once we get that, then we should be able to get that to sandwich inside there, hopefully. Let's see. And I can reuse this along with the mounts. So that's the idea. Those of you that don't know what the inside of the OEM horn looks like, well, there you go. So it looks like I got a lot of grinding to do. Almost there. We just got to ground that down a little bit, this all in here, and a little bit of I think as far as the diameter is okay. Same here. I got to ground down here and here, just so that it actually fits on top of that. Yeah, we're almost there. I'm just curious to what it's going to sound like. All the sound having to pass through all this stuff here going on. But yeah, cool. Guys, check it out. There's the Chinese horn inside of the OEM cover. Now you just gotta put the cap back on. Got some grommets in there, and yeah, I'm curious what this is gonna sound like. But yeah, it fits. Alright guys, here it is all hooked up. Not bad. Guess I got the OEM look with Chinese insides. Carburetor's back on. I got this is all just blocked off until I can get ready to hook everything up in the fuel line. I got a remote fuel tank to kind of start it up before putting the tank on there. But yeah, the throttle operational, so that's good. Especially how hard it was to do all that notching and stuff on these bars. So yeah, and I got new grips for it. So next thing I want to actually do is I want to get a compression check how it is now without starting it up, just kind of compare. And then once we get it running, this is all going to come off both sides, and then we'll strip and then repaint this, probably polish that one up. Just because I know there's oil back there, I don't want to remove that yet. Has oil in it, so we'll use the old stuff and then we'll change the oil with new. Already got it. Yeah, we're getting close. Real close. Here, just to show that everything's working. There's your neutral light, headlight, so low beam, high beam, signals, horn, just down there, and starter. Alright, so everything is all enclosed now, so I got it all bolted down, and now what I really want to do is get the compression tester in there and kind of see what we got on both cylinders. We're going to see what happens here. Got my remote fuel tank there, and I'm going to open up this petcock and see if this carburetor that I rebuilt, actually the float actually holds. So let's see what happens. Okay, she's open. What I probably should have done is put a filter in between this so I can actually see if fuel's actually going in there. But nothing's leaking so far. So far, so good. All right, well, let's turn on, see what happens. Okay, ignition's on. And I got some starting fluid to just kind of give it a little bit of a kick. We need to put a filter or something on this line so I can see whether or not actual fuel is getting up there. Be right back. Okay, taking apart my carburetor again, so I didn't even know that there were two jets in here. Apparently power jets, which are those two right there. That's the cap. It's like they were so far in there, inside of the hole, that I didn't see it. And then I took off the fuel elbow for the fuel inlet right here, and yeah, I didn't take it off before when I put it in the what's that thing called, the ultrasonic. But yeah, look at that, dude. Dang, that's dirty. So let me re-clean that, and then I also want to pay attention. There's two inside of here, tiny holes down inside there on both sides. See, make sure those are clear too as well. And then I'll recheck the pilot now that I've seen that. I'm going back to my old ways of doing things, but okay, you see like the line here that's on the float. Pretty much get it perpendicular to the base of the float bowl. Make it even. That's where normally I put the float without even measuring. That measuring thing puts the float way above that main. I don't know how it wasn't even getting fuel, because it was actually, the bowls were, hitting the bottom of the float was hitting the bottom of the bowl, and there was zero fuel in that bowl. So I'm gonna try this, see what happens. that's freaking awesome. This thing actually charges and runs really good. So, okay, back to my old school. Set the float by how you normally do it, dude. Forget all that measurement shit. Even of the float, middle of the float to the bottom of the base. And there you go. That was a perfect set. First time. Alright. We got a runner. And now I can change the oil, and I know everything works, so I'm going to take all this stuff off. And yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's not overheating, nothing, so it's not running lean. It's great. So, give it a last start. Warmed up the oil and all that stuff just to, so I drained it all out. And yeah, it's black, but nothing floating or any kind of weird flakes going on there. This motor's healthy. So drained it out so I can put new stuff in, but I'm going to remove this and then the other side where the stator is, and strip all this off, and then repaint it, polish that. I got to remove the headers off again, so I just put those on there just for the start, and then I'm going to actually I'm going to heat wrap these. I've done this on all my motorcycle over there, and it's good just to keep the heat off of here and let all the heat go back out to the silencer and out the back. Anyways, yeah, that's the plan, and get this all stripped of all the paint hopefully tonight. That way tomorrow I can paint this and let it dry for a day, and then probably slap it back on Sunday. That's the plan. So got a bunch of disassembling to do. So yeah, just gotta get the kickstart off, headers off, and then I want to mark where this is actually mounted. Yeah, probably somewhere in here. I'll just take a screwdriver and just mark it, make sure I get it back centered on the same spot, just because I don't know if that's part of the timing. And we'll remove this, and then I'm not sure what else is connected underneath this. I've never taken this apart. Also, I've got to take off the shift lever to get this off. So yeah, once we get that painted, then I can really pretty much start slapping stuff on. But I am going to remove the wheels. I got some new white wall tires coming in some point, I'm not sure. They're ordered, and then new tubes as well, front and rear. And yeah, then I can clean these up a little bit better, but they're pretty clean now. I did take some time and already clean those guys up. Yeah, pretty awesome. Got the stator cover off. Really all you got to do is just disconnect this wire from here, which is actually just held like that. So that can stay on. I don't need to remove that. Perfect. You don't want to mess up with the timing there. And there it is underneath. So yeah, this adjusts, I guess, the clutch play, I guess, because it was removing. It was not removing, but moving that, which actually connects to the cable. And let's look at the other side. So there you go. Here's my clutch discs. You have to remove the pegs, the bar that comes here that has the front footrest. You have to remove that just because it won't come off. And then this is the bolt that actually holds the exhaust. You just got to move the nut, and this basically just slides out. It's stuck like a screwdriver on this side. Just kind of, there's a place on the actual cover, and you just kind of push it out a little bit, and it loosens it up, and then just kind of wiggle it off. So that's the inside of the clutch cover. Not too bad. I got new gaskets, so no worries about that. I also got the chain off. I'm going to clean that and see what the condition is, whether it's rusty or whatever. Does have a master, another good thing. So yeah, that's all off. I'll probably just kind of wipe all this down, make sure the surfaces are all nice and clean, get rid of all this gasket material, clean up in here, same on the other side, and then we'll get those covers repainted and then we'll slap them back on. Like I said, probably Sunday. Give it a day to dry. Let's back up a little bit. So I am going to have to remove this, only because I have to spray this with paint remover, and yeah, I definitely don't want to spray this thing. I could try to cover it up, but I think it's just because when I have to use water and all that stuff, so I don't want to ruin this. So yeah, I'm going to remove it. No big deal. We got the where it needs to sit. I actually punched a couple holes there. I'm not sure if I needed to, but they're there. There she goes, stewing in the paint remover. Let that sit, and just show you what I'm using. I'm using this aircraft paint remover, and I just use steel wool. Kind of rub as much of it off once it actually gets most of it off, and then we hit it again on the areas that stuff didn't come off, or paint didn't come off. So yeah, so once we get that, then we clean it up really good, and then with soap, and just make sure it's super clean, and then we'll paint tomorrow. So what I use for paint, and I'll probably show you as well, but it's really it's the wheel paint, silver gloss, and then I'll probably hit it up with some clear as well, which is also wheel clear. That stuff dries really hard, so it's uses in all my like restore or semi-restore projects, and it always comes out really well. Why change a good thing if it works, right? Got the parts stripped off. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So we'll get these. It's kind of a shame. I was looking at this stuff, and they're a nice aluminum. I could probably polish this out. Maybe I'll try that first. Yeah, I don't know. And then just hit it with some gloss clear, right? Because that's actually not too bad. That's metal, not aluminum. So anyways, yeah, tomorrow we'll get to this. So last night, after I had removed the paint from these and noticed that the aluminum looked really good, good enough to at least attempt polishing. Well, I polished it, all the pieces, this, that, and that, and yeah, it's a little cold last night, I guess, and I got a little bit of dew on here, but yeah, look at that. Not too bad. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is, obviously wipe it all down, get it nice and clean with isopropyl alcohol, and then we'll hit it with clear. Probably do that with all this other stuff too, as well. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, this is a nose or a front fender ornament, and that should cover up some of because I remember I had to do some touch-up painting, and a lot of it is right here. A little bit's going to show here, but most of it's going to be covered. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of cool. So I got that. But yeah, we'll get with that. I got gaskets for both sides of the cover here, and that one, and then the big one. This is the oil side, so it's going to be sealed. This side isn't, because it's dry. So yeah, we're good to go there. But yeah, let's let it warm up a little bit outside. It's still kind of sprinkling. Don't know what the deal is with that, but anyways, at least it's not super hot. But it's supposed to get like 80 degrees today, so that's good for painting. Let's take a look at this chain. So definitely looks like the OEM chain. Here's your master. I'm gonna try to use this old pine saw that I had in my my cleaner that I was saving. Don't know why, but I did. But yeah, it should still be effective. I'm gonna go ahead and soak it in that, and then see whether or not that'll clean it up, at least degrease it enough to kind of see condition. Whether or not we'll save this one or just end up buying a new one. But yeah, let's go ahead and dump that in there, let it soak, get a good scrubbing, and then we'll see what we got. So cleaning up the gasket surface here, and this thing works really well. So it's actually just a polishing kit, and I was actually using this to kind of get inside like really tight areas that my 5-inch buffing wheel couldn't get to. Same over here. Yeah, I'm just kind of pre-fitting some of the gaskets here, and what you want to make sure is that this stuff actually fits over all those dowels and what have you before, because this is the oil side, so I'm actually going to put black RTV, really light coat on both sides. Have really good luck. I just don't trust just using dry, just for to seal, so I don't have any kind of oil leaks. Once we clean all this all up, we'll blow it out, clean this up really good with alcohol, and then we'll go ahead and clear coat it both sides. That one too. There's a chain, guys, all degreased and then all lubed up. It's still a good chain because it's really loose. No links that are actually stuck or anything. So because these are covered, and it was like, God, it almost felt like grease that was on it, but I guess that's what saved it. So that's good to go. We'll let that hang there until I'm ready to put the chain back on. Throwing the light coats of the clear coat on there. You do lose some of that shine, but that's okay. It looks just like a shiny silver instead of a chrome, which is, I don't really like chrome anyways. But yeah, got that. Parts over there hanging in the tree. Here. Same there. And then the carb covers. There you go. Another project here, so I want to replace the gasket that's back here because I'm not sure if it's leaking down there, but I have it. And well, you have to remove the starter chain, number one, besides all the screws that are all around this, and then remove the I don't know, advance timer, something like that, advance mechanism. And I just so happen to have this big ass bolt that came from one of like my ATVs. I think this is from like a three-wheeler axle or something like that. Anyways, it's screwed right in there because I don't have any kind of puller that fits inside of there. So I just kind of bottomed it out, and then I was tapping it and I was trying to turn it from here, but it's just turning the crank. So then I just banged it from this side out and it popped off. So anyways, it's one way to do it. There it is. There's your stator. This is a good opportunity to clean all this out. It's working, but anyways. So now this should pop out, hopefully. Oh, let's see, something else is holding it. We'll figure that. Oh no, there it goes. It'll go. So I got to replace this gasket here. In order for this whole thing to come out, you have to remove the key, which is right there. So I remove that, and now this just pulls right out. Now I can get that gasket on there. There it is, with it off. That's the gasket I need to replace. By the looks of it, yeah, it does look like it was leaking, so it's a good thing I'm in here replacing that. Sunday, so this is all nice and dry. We'll get that put on along with the cap. There's our gasket and then our black RTV. I've already cleaned the engine side mating surfaces just so we can get a good seal. So let's get to this one. Hey guys, well, right side cover's on, looking good, all sealed. So yeah, I removed the rear brake rod, cleaned it up, and then I clear coated it, so that's drying. I got to figure out the other side as far as the magneto here. Yeah, I can't get this slide in all the way, so I'm going to try to remove the stator, and then we'll see if we can get it on there, and then put the stator back. So that's the next thing to do. Alright, let's try this out. Stator's off. You can see the key is actually in there. It's straight, as far as I can tell. Now let's see how this lines up. It's wrong way. There you go. That's it. Yep. It grabs perfectly. All right. So that's a trick right there. Take the stator off, and it's pretty easy because then you can actually grab the whole thing and get it in there. So let's get this stator back on there, and yeah, we'll clean off this a little bit before we, because it's going to be all covered. So same with the stator side. We'll make sure this is all clean. I already steel wooled it and all that stuff, blew it out, but just the last clean. The header wrap all done. So this is the same stuff I used, DEI I believe. Got it from Amazon, that I used on my sport bike. That's over there and works really well. Let's see, let me get this adjusted again. So yeah, just gonna keep it in the sun. You can see kind of like how it sparkles. That's all fiberglass. So yeah, just letting it dry off before I install it. And then yeah, and then I got my mufflers just kind of hanging. I got some high temp clear on it right now. I just want to kind of stop that chrome peeling from happening. All right, got some new shoes for the old girl. White walls. See how these work up. So these are actually 1/4 of an inch narrower. I couldn't find the 3.0, so these are 2.75 by 16, and new tubes as well, motorcycle tubes. I'm sure it'll be fine. This thing the motorcycle's not even fast, so it's more like a scooter, being a 150cc. So I think it'd be all right. These are pretty beefy. They feel really good. So yeah, it's awesome, man. I really wanted these white walls too. There she goes, guys. White walls. So there you go. Yeah, a little bit thinner than the 3.00. It's a 2.75, so 1/4 inch narrower. But actually, the bike actually had 3.500 or 3.50 on it. But they were just, I don't trust them, so I wanted some new ones. And yeah, white walls. It's gonna work out for me. I like it. So check this out, guys. Try to put the ornament on the front fender. You know, mostly it's going to cover. There was a big, huge chip here, but went all the way and pretty much the front. So it covered most of it. Man, I just looked at this stupid emblem wrong, and it snapped right off. So I don't know. Can't really glue that on there because that'll just break off. So, anyways, well, we got half an ornament. The headers are back on there. Got the side covers, chain, rear wheel, muffler. The next thing I gotta do is actually do the chain slack before I tighten that down. So yeah, right side too as well. Back together. So, man, I can't wait. Probably this weekend I can ride this thing. Next thing on the agenda is to get a petcock on this guy. So I went ahead and kind of cleaned it a little bit. The last thing I'm going to do is, well, I use carb cleaner, and then Windex, and then we're going to use some isopropyl alcohol to just get everything off of there. You can see how the surface is really uneven, a lot of pitting. So that's why we're going to use the Black Art TV. So goal today, get this little adapter thing on there. We'll coat this with a light coat of Black Art TV, and then we got our screws here. I already went ahead and verified that the threads are free, and then we'll put some Loctite on there, right there, some thread locker, and then we'll get this guy installed. And I guess use the tape, make can with it. We'll see. And also verified the function of this, the valve. So it does shut off. It does turn on when it's using the long part of it, and then the reserve, which is down here. There's a hole here. So we'll go ahead and clean that up, get that on, and we'll let the RTV. I always let it dry overnight, so it'll fully cure before even attempting to put fuel in here. So we did the same thing on the engine side covers that had the oil side that had the RTV, and that's already been curing for the last 2-3 days. So we can put oil back now into the motor, and then well, hopefully it won't see any kind of leaks, but I don't think so. I've always had good luck in doing that. So yeah, we're moving on to the tank. I did a bunch of little touch-ups. You can kind of see here, and on the top, just little chips before we did that yesterday. So let's get to this part. All right, so we're all cleaned off. Alcohol, I actually scraped off as much as I could of any kind of previous gasket or whatever was on there. And so the bolt and the washers and O-ring came with, you can see there. So there's a lock washer, O-ring, and another washer. So I'm assuming that's going to seal where the bolts go in to the tank itself. So anyways, that's what makes sense to me, because the amount of what came with 3 bolts. So we'll go with that. We'll get the RTV on there, get this thing installed. All right, that squashing of the O-ring, yeah, that's no good. So what I did is over here, you can see, I just put RTV on the threads of the thing, remove the O-rings because they just squash out. So this will give it a nice seal with RTV on the threads, and as you tighten it down, then it'll squash out and seal it. So you just got to remove this O-ring here and do the same as we did here, and that'll work. You can already see like around the actual adapter, you can see it already squashing out nicely all the way around, and that should seal it up fine. All right, there you go. Got nice squash all the way around, so that's going to seal it perfectly. Now we just got to get the petcock on there. Just notice something here on the bottom of the tank. I mean, while I'm here, I'm not sure what the previous owner was covering there. So I think what I'm going to do, I've already cleaned it off with alcohol. I'm going to put some JB Weld all along there since I'm here. So not sure, but better be safe than sorry. So while this is all RTV is drying, we'll go ahead and get JB Weld there and seal that as well. So mounted the relays so that we left and right. These are the blinkers. I had to separate it out just because of how the polarity was. And these are LED blinker relays. And so anyways, so they're mounted now with Velcro, and got the OEM toolkit, and then it fits right underneath the cover. So I think the next thing I want to try to do is see if I can pull the VIN off of that using an old trick, I guess, with muriatic acid. Make sure I cover everything down at the bottom here for drippage. I'm just going to put a really slight amount. I just really need to know like what the actual year is on this bike, because you can see here it was re-VIN'd by the California DMV at some point. That's actually a metal plate and riveted on there. So yeah, let's see what happens. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try to get this to show the real VIN. So using here muriatic acid, which is actually from my pool. I'll stick some inside the little glass container there. Use that brush to brush it on. I found some instruction here on some stuff and how to do it and all that stuff. And it yeah, see, it's even saying it's literally hydrochloric acid, but you can also use the muriatic acid from a swimming pool. So we've already cleaned the grease, dirt, stuff like that. Cleaned with alcohol. Actually use a little bit of steel wool to kind of first clean it off as best I could as far as the rust, and then we'll use the alcohol to kind of get rid of everything else. So it's saying to use a cotton ball, so we're just going to use this little brush. Hopefully it doesn't disintegrate that, but we'll see. It will probably happen pretty quickly. And then it just says characters to appear 15 to 30 minutes, but if it doesn't, then stop and then use hot water to remove the acid. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try that and see what happens. So let's get this right here. And yeah. Ooh, you can see the smoke coming off of this stuff. Be careful not to breathe it in. Alright, let's see what happens here. I'm gonna get rid of that. Just already starting to drip down. Don't want that to be destroying more paint. Yeah, I should use gloves. I'm an idiot. So, let's see how it's clearing off of the rust off of it. But, yeah, let's get this radicus out of the sun. You can see the smoke off of it. So far. Kind of get all this around all the rest of the area because I actually want to put some, if I touch up that, if I can't get the VIN to pop up. Shit. That's strong shit. So far, not seeing shit. Not really timing this, but it's probably a couple minutes. What I'm wondering too is if I get some really good rust remover to get rid of most of that rust on there, but it's really, the metal's super rusty right there. So this was revamped and actually they tagged it salvage. I'm sure because it was stolen, which kind of sucks. I'm gonna see if I can try to get this put back to a clean title. But yeah, California DMV is like some of the worst people to deal with. Yeah, I don't see anything now. So just try to keep the area wet. I'm gonna walk away from this, and I'll stop the video here, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes. So if you look really closely, you can faintly see some numbers there. I'll put another, I brushed another coat on there. Maybe we can get it more, but yeah, you can see it like right there. So I use this tool to kind of lightly sand off the surface, and there you go. So I got most of that off. I really want to, oh yeah, I also used some 1000 grit wet dry sandpaper, and really want to get it down to get rid of all these like marks everywhere. But it's starting to show up, but it definitely shows there's CA95, which we know. We just need the rest of the numbers to figure out the year. I think if we can get it down totally with all that black marks and everything, then try the muriatic acid, it might show up. So that's the hope. Let's keep going. Alright, I tried a little bit more of acid, and yeah, we're just not seeing it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to try to use a Dremel with like a sanding polishing kit, something really light. I just want to try to get it down to the metal and get rid of all that black stuff, and we'll just continue going. I mean, why not? It's time to fill up the oil. So what I did is I put this Valvoline 1030 4-stroke and make sure this stuff is clutch safe, whatever oil brand you use. But it's supposed to be 1.3 quarts. Put 1 quart in there, and it's just a little bit over. I'll let it settle anyways, and then recheck it again, and if I have to, I'm going to drop some of the oil out. I don't want to overfill it, so we'll just leave that the way it is for now. Anyways, this has got oil just in case I accidentally get happy and want to start it up. I want to make sure there's oil in there, and also to it's a good time to check once it's been sitting for a little bit if it's leaking anywhere. So we'll verify that when that time comes. Alright guys, had the oil sitting all day, and yeah, you can see the seam right there, so 0 leaks. Even the drain plug is dry, so we're good. Wow, what a cool sound. Like a thumper. Uh-oh. Don't tell my one-way bearing. So I'm still going to use the same emblems. These are the actually the OEM original one. So I repainted the back side, and then I polished the front, and yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, got to get these guys installed now. Wow, 10 minutes, guys. This thing is running really good. Now I just got to get that chain slack sorted out, and then tighten the bolts down, and then get the two covers on, and this will be complete. Well, and then I gotta do some shifting on the test ride, so make sure that all works. I have no idea. The motor sounds sweet. Oh, there you go, guys. This is what I shut it up before, so no way that's gonna leak now. Managed to get a full turn, and hopefully it doesn't leak anymore. I replaced the hose because, yeah, I was yanking the shit out of it. You know, I don't want to then have a leak at the hose. So, anyways, hopefully that'll hold. But yeah, use black RTV on these threads. Just put on the threads and then screw it in. Then you'll never have a leak. All right, guys, project for today. Look at that. So I broke the clutch, the little piece in here. Just adjusting here because, yeah, dumb me, I wasn't thinking that the actual plates are actually stuck, the clutch disc plates, and I really adjusted it way out here and just put it way too much tension on there, and that was kind of stupid. But I mean, it was working, but the plates were stuck as far as the cable and the mechanism. So anyways, what I have to do now is, I bought this supposedly new old stock. I mean, looks used old stock to me. The cool thing has this little place of oil here. I mean, he said it'll work. This is for the early, and hopefully it does. Doesn't have that metal like there. See how this one has that metal for the bend here. Hopefully it still works, but I have to feed it. Obviously the Dream has everything fed through, so I gotta feed it through here. I take this cover off because it comes up here, so this plate has to come off. And anyways, this has to come off as well, which means I gotta probably take off the header because I don't think I can get all this stuff out now, as well as the shift lever. So anyways, that's the project. Got to get all this off because I'm actually rebuilding the starter clutch mechanism. Supposedly it works when it's cold, but once it warms up, it no longer engages. So this supposedly is the fix, and we'll go ahead and put all those new rollers and springs inside of there to get that working right, hopefully. So that's what's going on here. I haven't touched this in a couple weeks because I'm kind of busy doing other stuff, and you know, you got the holidays. Thanksgiving Day actually today, so I'm going to work on this a little bit today, and then hopefully can finish this off tomorrow, because yeah, gotta eat turkey. See you in a bit. Got it, the cable kind of out here, so just notice that this cable that I bought, incorrect, but we're gonna have to alter it. You can see this is the length. If you see, that's all the way to the end. This is all the way to the end. This is too short. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna measure here and then cut off that much of the housing, and then we'll slip that little cover back on there. So that's the plan. It kind of is what it is. I'm not going to return it. All this right here does screw in to the holder there, and yeah, even though it doesn't have this thing, it should still be okay. It'll just, you know, bend with the cable. Once we do that, then I'm gonna just kind of tie it off here to the end of this cable and just kind of pull it through. That's the plan anyways. That way I don't have to remove all this shit. We'll see. Anyways, got to do some modifications. So there you go. Here. Right to the end. Yeah, that was a pain. So just clipping off all the the metal, that's, you can kind of see the wounding in here. So had to actually literally, so I sliced it across, just not getting all the way down to the cable because I don't want to damage the cable itself. And then you have to separate each one and then use these clippers, each one to snap off. Close your eyes. You don't want that go flying in your eyes. But anyways, so that's good. So now we can go ahead and tie this off and feed it through. Hopefully that'll work. That's the plan anyways. Let's do it. There you go, guys. Got it through. It's pretty hard here because of the wires and stuff like that, but yeah, we're good. Just gotta unravel this and then feed it up to here. So we definitely want to get this back on the right way. So looks like the mark is here, and to make sure it's on the top, I don't know, 1 o'clock. This is the starter clutch, so this is what I got to rebuild. So never done this before, so I'm assuming removing these 3 screws here, and that gets me to where I can actually replace all this, the stuff that's going on inside there. Well, you'll see what I see, so let's go ahead and remove those. So I'm an idiot. I try to take these screws off, and man, I almost stripped this one. I got these 2 loose, and apparently I don't need to take these off. So that roller, literally, there's the old, because it just popped out, and I was like, wait a minute. So this is the original, and it's just a spring inside of another roller here, and this literally just pops right out. So you can show you here. See that? Dumb. Okay, anyways, let's clean this all up and then retighten these and then install the new stuff. I'll probably use a dielectric grease to kind of hold the spring and that together. Can't hurt. So looking at the parts side by side, you can see, I mean, besides it being cleaner, I don't see much of a difference. But anyways, supposedly this is the known issue on hot starts, that the starter clutch just doesn't work, but guess we'll see. Anyway, got this all cleaned out, all the orifices, and now we just stick this all back together. Brand new rollers and spring. There you go. So all 3 sides. Let's install this back. There she is, back on. Got the advance is working, so to make sure that works as well. This is tightened down. It's a 14 millimeter. Chain's good. Just gotta put the stator back. And I got like a leak down here. I thought I sorted it out, but apparently not. Gotta check that out. So I was thinking that the leak was here because this whole cover thing I resealed. So I dried it all out, pretty clean, and I'm just gonna go ahead and let it sit, which means also I dried this out, this little cover here. I'm gonna try to see where it could be leaking. I really don't think it's leaking from my repair, but I'm gonna let it sit, which means I have to keep this cover off, which is, it's okay. Okay to leave that off for now, and I really want to make sure that leak is fixed before I put that cover back on. And then again, I still have to do the chain slack and all that stuff before I put the chain covers back on. So yeah, let it sit and come back to it. Anyways, it's Thanksgiving, so gotta get cleaned up for that, and we'll check on this tomorrow. I had this off for like almost a week, and I'm not seeing any leaks from any of the but new gasket and seal down there. Nothing. Where I am seeing is right here. Not sure if you can see that very well. There you go. So I had if I can point this to get my finger in there. Right in there, I had actually dried that out, and now you can kind of see a little bit of oil there. So that's leaking. I'm going to seal basically this whole area here, the whole area around it, and let that dry. And I'm going to put this back on because I can't really start it because, well, there's your points. So go ahead and do that, seal it up, and then hopefully I don't have any more leaks. But I mean, I wouldn't doubt if it's coming from anywhere here. One of these rubber seals there, but I don't know. Hopefully not. Anyways, I didn't really dry that area that well. I probably should have. Yeah, you can kind of see up in here too. Maybe I'll clean that up and then put some RTV there as well. So, yeah, I just want to get this all sealed up before I put the cover back on with the points. So, there you go. Let's do that. Alright guys, hope you guys can see this. It's actually nighttime right now. But I did throw some RTV around that area right there. And then also over here. I just was too lazy to pull the chain off. And yeah, I just don't want to do it. But anyways, I got most of it like a moon shape, I guess. I didn't get what's behind there, the chain area. But that's sealed, and we'll see if that holds. I did clean around the area, and what I didn't do is I didn't seal up in there. Let's see if I can kind of go in there a little bit, but I don't see anything leaking from there, at least not now. Tiny bit. Maybe I'll throw some, yeah, I'm not sure. Where is that? Yeah, you can see it. Look at this oil. I'll just push that. Yeah. What the heck is all this? That's definitely oil going on in there. So another area I gotta throw some RTV, but it's nighttime right now. I'm not gonna deal with it. But anyways, that's done. So that shouldn't leak anymore from there, as well as, you know, the bottom and that side. Not sure about that side, but I think I want to do RTV there too as well. Alright, for the heck of it, because I'm here already, I went ahead and sealed that off too as well. You can see it just kind of lathered it on there. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to let it sit for a while and see if any other leaks I can find before I close this up. Just troubleshooting my off timing or whatever. So this can only go one way, right? There's the notch. That pin fits right into the notch, like so. Doesn't move. Advance works, you can see. And this is the whatever goes on the point side to open and close. You can feel that it's not completely round, kind of oblong, I guess you call it. So this is correct, unless I didn't have, I pulled this back out, unless I didn't have this in there correctly, which I don't know how else it could fit in there, because it has a notch inside there that kind of fits, that kind of pulls these open when you turn this. So everything looks good. I didn't pinch the wire when putting it back. Everything looks correct. I'm just not sure why it was popping. That's what it looks like inside. Alright guys, super quick here. So this is the advance mechanism for the Honda CA95. Could be on the other Dreams as well, or CVs of the 60s era. Anyway, so there is a notch here. This whole piece actually can lift out, which it did on me when I rebuilt the starter clutch. And when I put it back in, apparently I put it in backwards. Now here's the thing, is that this notch on this side and on this side, they're literally the same. So literally when you put it in, I don't see any markings, you know, to where, or this notch is bigger or smaller, where it can fit only one way. It can fit both ways. So apparently I put it in the wrong way, which is kind of dumb that they don't mark them. So the only way to tell is to reassemble, put the bolt back in here, and try to start it. And if it pops like it did on me, like it was off time, well, then it's wrong. So then you got to pull this out. This actually lifts out. You have to pull these out on both sides at the same time, and then that'll release it and it'll come out. And then you'll just spin this around 180, and then again, having these pulled out, push it back down into those notches, and then it should be right. But yeah, there's no way until if it's not marked, you don't know. You just have to try it. Put the bolt back in, put the cover back on, because, well, that's where the points are, and then try to start it. If it starts, then they're good. So yeah, this is kind of a bad design on this, because yeah, I would have never known this if I didn't remember back that this actually fell out, and I put it back in the 180 degrees out, until somebody mentioned it. Did this get removed? This part, not the whole thing. The whole thing is literally a whole assembly, but this piece can actually come out. So anyways, that's what we got to do, and that's the diagnosis, and we'll see what happens. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because there's nothing else. Everything else looks fine, and I didn't touch anything fuel related or whatever. Everything is within underneath that stator cover. So there you go. So here we go. This is the test. I only got like a couple bolts here and here. This is now the bolt on the crank here is holding now the advance mechanism. So if this is correct, I have the exhaust off, because you got to take all this off just to get the cover off. So this is just a test. We'll see if it fires up, or if it just pops. Then we got this backwards. Then we got to take this back off, and then just put it 180 degrees. So let's see what happens. We're 180 degrees off. All right, we got to take it back off. So now we know it didn't start. So what I did is I marked here to here. So all I got to do is just remove this and then flip it around 180 degrees, and then it should be correct. At least that mark is there now. So, well, if this ever I have to take this cover off again and take this advanced assembly, I'll have it right this time. So let's try that. Here you go. I flipped it around 180 degrees. Now that should get those points timing correct. Let's give it a try. Okay, it's back on. I got the cam now turned 180 degrees. This should pop off. Good to go. That was it. Like, we have another issue going on here. So we got a fuel leak. Kind of leaked everywhere here, and it's coming from right there underneath the tank. So I got to pull the tank off and figure out what's going on underneath there. Kind of sucks, but you know, I did figure that there's going to be. This is just going way too well for me. So let's gotta sort that guy out before I do any safe riding anyways. Alright guys, I didn't show like the first process, but I put the, there's like a two-part, like a putty that you actually kind of mix together with your fingers, and then this is actually JB Weld on top of that. So the tiny hole was like right there somewhere. So went down the metal. You can see there's metal right there. We'll cover that up with rust restore, and that'll actually give it a good coating so it doesn't rust anymore. And then we'll see what happens. I'm going to hit it with some white paint, which I've been using for the touch-up, and then we'll slap this back on, but we'll give it a few days to actually cure before I do that process. But there it is. Saturday morning, and the tank is back installed, and there's the repair underneath there, painted up, so hopefully that doesn't leak. We'll know right away, but yeah, gotta get some fuel, fresh fuel, and then let it sit in the tank, see what happens. Time for that first ride on the CA95 since I got it. So got my 360 camera mount going on. I just gotta put the camera here, but yeah, let's see how she does. Alright guys, ride's over, and yeah, this one did flawless. So just some adjustments, definitely front and back brake needed some adjusting. Almost didn't have much brakes, but yeah, had enough to stop, just downshift. So yeah, it's doing really good. Last thing to do, so I did adjust the chain, tightened it down, and this is what I have here. So, and then when I sit down on it, it's about 3/4 of an inch. So just gotta get the chain covers back on, and then it should be complete. Just gotta get it registered. That's a pain in the you know what in California, but we'll get it done. Can't let this one die. All right, see ya.